What has, just kind of go down the line here, Ray, what has that reception meant to you? Do you try to tune it out? I mean...
I don't read the reviews. I asked my wonderful publicist and my partner, Graham, to give me the summary just so we were all in London doing a press junket when it came out, and we had to go back into a press junket in the morning, and I didn't want to be surprised by a room full of people saying, hi. So they told me like it was received well, and I've caught wind of the Apple stuff and the Rotten Tomatoes stuff and all that. First, it's just a huge relief. It's just because we worked so hard on it and we loved it and blood, sweat, and tears into it. But then for this to just keep rolling and hear the reception from fans and critics and family and friends, journalists, the conversations it's inspiring in them, and the discourse it's enabling, and that's just been like so gratifying on top of all of it. And I'd lie if I didn't say nominations aren't fun. They're very fun. We're very grateful for those, and hopefully they bring in even more viewers to check the show out.
Absolutely. I want to hear from all of you on this too, just how it's been. And
I think it's been it's incredible that people are enjoying the show, and like what Ray said, you do something and you put so much heart and soul into it, and you hope that people enjoy it, and to see them enjoy it so much, it's incredible. The conversations that are starting for everyone, and people's interpretation of the show and what it means to them. And we had so many banters on set about what the show meant to each of us. Our own interpretation was so much fun. So yeah, it's been pretty special.
Yes.
For me,
it's my first journey going through that, so this has been really, having a show that gets nominated like that, I'm like, it's pretty wild.
It is.
Yeah.
It's completely new to me. This is a context that I don't know about. So I had to ask someone to explain to me how Rotten Tomatoes works. Like, wait a minute, what is that 100% thing? And they explain to me, and it's so it's beautiful, it's overwhelming, and yes, the fact that it ignites so many conversations and debate, and it has it sets people in motion. That's beautiful about a work of art,
I guess if you don't know what Rotten Tomatoes is and you're told 100% Rotten Tomatoes, that it could sound kind of scary.
It was misleading.
Right. Yeah.
I asked with hesitation.
Yeah, no. Great news, lots of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah!
Well, that's true. You must have had an interesting reaction. Were you like, that's a good thing, or were you like, is that a bad thing?
I asked with hesitation.
I can say from the writer point of view, we were so excited working on the show, and we also were aware that it was a big swing and a weird world that we were creating. So it has been genuinely thrilling and also surprising in the way that it's like if you're throwing a super weird party and we love it. We love our party, but will other people get it? Will other people like it? And then to find that you have, sort of partners in the world who like the same kind of thing that you like is incredibly gratifying. So we're so grateful.
I think the only hint that we had that maybe the show was going to work was that when we were on set and when we were in casting and when we were in post, every single member of the crew wanted to talk about the premise the whole time. And a crew is a microcosm of the real world. You've got the drivers, you've got, the grips, the electrics, you have people from all walks of life and from all different backgrounds, and on this show from all over the world. And everybody would come up to us, to the writers, to Vince, to the cast, and be like, I think this is what's gonna happen next. Is this what the others are like? And they would constantly be engaged. They would be emailing us at 4 a.m. like, I think that the people in the background should be doing this. They should be carrying these boxes and taking these things out of the houses. And they were all so creatively engaged. We thought, if this is what the crew is like, then maybe the audience will be like this too.
And they did have theories. Sometimes I'd be like, man, don't say that yet. I'm not ready to divulge.
Of course, it's gratifying, but as the glass half empty kind of person here, I think. There's a lot of pressure now, and we were kind of making this show for years at this point, going, I don't know, man. Maybe people will like it, but we're just trying to make the best show that we can, that we believed in with a story that we thought was good. And now that the writers are back in the room for season 2, and it's like, oh, okay, now what do we do? What do we have to do this? So it's a little bit more observed than I think we were for the last 3 years of working on this. So.
Seen as an asset, and bringing subtext to a female role that might not, is seeing something as somebody who doesn't have a lot of dialogue doesn't have to be a position of weakness. What if that's a position of power for a woman standing in a room with a bunch of men, and never gunning to get more, but them observing that there might be something interesting about me, three-dimensionalizing that part of her or whatever. And so it means a lot to me. It also means a hell of a lot to me that some of the first texts I got when it was announced that Vince was writing a show for me were from our crew members, and saying there's nobody they want more to be number one on a call sheet, and they'll be there whatever the call time is. Meant a lot. Yeah. Then on set, I'm working with these guys. It's the whole reason I got to the phone call where Vince said he wrote something for me is because I was calling every single one of them saying, hey, I'm fortunate enough that I'm going in for meetings now on other shows and other possible series that I could join at, but wherever you guys go, I will go. It's that incredible of a set. The writing is that, intensely high level, and then also the environment that is very challenging, and what they're asking of you is also very empowering, because instead of a work environment where many of us have been in, that you constantly feel like you're trying to prove why you belong there, you're met with a lot of energy that's, well, I think you're brilliant, of course, and like they believe in you more than you do sometimes, and you kind of want to meet the expectation rather than feeling like you need to dance faster because they're shooting at your feet. And then, as Alison said, the last thing I will say about that is one of the great gifts, if you get the chance, I mean, most of us just like, it's just, to get the chance to work at all is such a gift. But if you get to work with the same people over and over again, and now having these incredible people that they looked high and low for, among thousands, to find these two geniuses, as well as Samba Schutte, who is here. And the national treasure named Miriam Shore, who played Helen, my wife. They're cut from the same cloth. They're cast in a way because they see their work ethic too. They see the way they come out of character. So sorry, to what I meant was that then you have this working environment, and I told Gordon one day, I said, it's taken I've been doing this over 30 years, and I said, I am not afraid to try. I'm trying to be great every day, but to not be terrified to fail because you have an idea and I'm just going to try this and it may or may not work, which is the only way you're going to not be mediocre is if you do take big swings. Yeah. And I'm not scared that everyone's going to be like, oh, we made a mistake. We thought she could act, and she can't. And instead it's just like, yeah, that doesn't work. Let's just move on, and then I'll do an idea that Jenn has, or an idea that Gordon has, or an idea that Vince has, and it's the best idea wins. And everybody, they make me feel like I didn't just win the lottery, that I might be value added, and that's an incredible thing.
I love that. So just tell me about, first of all, filming those sequences. What was the most challenging aspect? And also, I'll get to this, but I'm just so excited to learn more about this character.
The Darien Gap has a close relationship to me because I'm from Colombia, and that's going on right now. People are migrating through the Darien Gap, so it's an ongoing tragedy. So that implied a lot of respect and responsibility in playing the character, who is a migrant himself. He has migrated from Paraguay to Colombia, from Colombia to Paraguay once, and now he has to migrate again. It wasn't. I have to say, it wasn't dangerous because I was taken care of, and safety was always first. apart from the fake snow stones that I was exploring all the time. Sorry.
You have to tell the story.
jokes.
So
Inside.
we were filming the Darien Gap in the jungles of La Palma in a national park. And because it was a protected environment, we weren't allowed to move any of the rocks. We weren't allowed to unearth any trees. And so anything we brought in for Vesga to interact with had to be fake and not like seeded or anything that could potentially disrupt the environment. So
Unorganic.
yes.
I was
so
just not expecting it to be hollow.
Yes. So we brought in all these styrofoam rocks that were painted beautifully to look like real rocks.
So real that I thought it was a solid rock.
Yes.
It wasn't.
And Vesga gives 100% when he is performing, and so you were launching yourself off the chunga palm, and you launch yourself directly into this giant rock that was in front of you.
I went through it.
It exploded. And we were recording, and so it is on the gag reel.
I'm expecting to see that. I'm waiting to see that. So it had a special challenge because he has so few lines. It's very few lines. And sometimes we would talk about it with Adam, and he would say it's a mantra. It's like a litany.
Adam Bernstein, who directed the episode.
Such an amazing guy. Oh my God, so much fun to work with. And sometimes we would try to find ways of it not sounding like it was a robot or a recording going over and over. And I remember an exercise, training actors exercise, in which you have two volunteers and you tell them a scene. You're going to play a questioning scene in a police station. You're the policeman. You're the alleged thief or whatever, but you can only say the lyrics to "Mary Had a Little Lamb," and you have to play the scene with the intention, but only saying the lyrics to the song. And I remember that exercise for that scene, to find ways of finding new colors and finding new intention for it.
Should we do that to answer the rest of the questions? If we just can only say Mary Had a Little Lamb, but just in the right
She
tone.
wants you to do that.
Yeah, let's just do that now. Just every question.
Let's do that.
Oh,
Yes.
do that.
Well, Mary had a little lamb.
Her fleece was white as snow?
It's everywhere.
Mary had a little lamb.
Mary went.
Chaos.
Ash, help.
I was like, I don't know the second verse or anything. I don't. Just that part. I don't. Where?
Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow.
I feel like we all needed a "Don't Ask Me" shirt right now.
The John Cena cameo. I have to bring that up. It was such an unexpected fun part. Love John Cena. How did that idea originate, and how did you pull it off?
Well, I think Vince came in and pitched it. We knew that we needed somebody that was like trustworthy, and we wanted a certain kind of famous and a certain kind of like, oh, this is a surprising role. And Vince, I think, had seen him on The Bear and was like, hey, what do you guys think about John Cena? And it so happens that my sister is a huge John Cena fan. Like, I got her like a Peacemaker cake a couple years ago for her birthday, which when it came time for Jenn to reach out to his manager, she was like, hey, you want to see a picture of this Peacemaker cake? So we had a thing, and he did it, and it was fantastic. And yeah, love John Cena, peach of a guy. Apparently, Vince was saying yesterday that between takes, he would go and play like concert level piano where they were recording, and he would just to relax. And he's apparently incredibly gifted, which is like so cool.
He's such an enigma.
He was so incredible, and we went to him. So Ganja, our director, who's here, and Vince, and a splinter crew. They flew to the East Coast to grab him on a Saturday, I think it was, in between his crazy Peacemaker season 2 schedule. And he not only knew all of his lines, but he got to the set before anybody waiting. And Vince was like, he got it in one take, but we flew all the way here from New Mexico. We had to make him do it 2 or 3 times. And he very kindly did a quick happy birthday to Gordon's sister. So, yes, we're ride or die for John Cena now.
I love it. Have you all thought, this is probably too brain-breaking, if Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul exist in this universe because John Cena does, Golden Girls do, the Mayor of Albuquerque does.
There are some little Easter eggs, obviously, that are from there's the airplane Wayfair Airlines appears. There are other little things that are seeded through. I don't know that it necessarily means that they exist in the same universe, but
or the
maybe
show,
or that the show. I don't know if the shows exist in that universe. Luckily, TV is not currently broadcasting, so we won't have to test that theory.
In a way, the connective tissue, in addition to just Ray as a human being, is Albuquerque itself. Like, it is a character in its own way, and it is sort of the through line as a setting, even though it's technically unrelated.
Yeah. For the cast, what is the scene that you filmed that has stuck with you the most, that you either, whether from like the filming it perspective, or you just were so excited for audiences to see it? Maybe it hasn't happened yet.
Can you imagine if one of us said like, haven't had one yet?
I'm like,
no,
hold
we're
on.
still waiting on it being an exciting scene.
No, I just mean like audience haven't seen it yet because it's like in the finale or something.
I thought you meant haven't seen it. Still waiting.
It's like, no, I hated it.
Are you saying from the last 2 episodes? Like, what were our favorite scenes, or just throughout the series?
Throughout the series so far, but
It's a hard one because there's so many. I had so much fun.
did you have?
I think I have to say that taxing the C-130, it definitely goes down. And like, I will never get to do that again. And I never thought ever that I would ever get to do something like that. So that was definitely bonkers.
You really did that?
Yeah, I really did. I know, totally. I know. It's
awesome.
a ginormous piece of machinery, and that plane is so big, and the propellers and the sound and smell. It's a really old plane, and at first the pilots were not sure. The first day we were shooting, the pilots were not sure for insurance purposes if they would let me do it. And then after spending a day with me and having conversations, because Zosha also carries, a muscle memory of the best pilots in the world. So we would have to talk about, what it means to be a pilot and being a great pilot and all that stuff and how to behave and everything. And so after the day of rehearsing with them, they said, you know what? I think she can do it. I think she can actually taxi the C-130. And and they did the next day at the Albuquerque airport, which was so wild.
That's so.
And it's a tiny little. It's not, and you see it in episode 2. It's a wheel that you move around, and you have these pedals that are just stop and go and brakes, and you just move it around, and the plane just turns, and you go with it. And it's amazing, guys.
They were very impressed by your abilities, I know that.
Which is wild. I'm like, I can't believe I got to do that. There's so many things on the show that I got to do that are just mind-blowing. And
You know how to use an excavator too.
you guys, I was very popular with my kids. I was definitely a cool mom. It was awesome. It's so much fun. I highly recommend it, you guys. If you haven't tried it, please go play with an excavator. It's so much fun.
I do
think I was
not
afraid to-
recommend trying to dig a grave with just a shovel by yourself. It doesn't work out well. I think Gordon and I would definitely say that laying the pavers is one of the most.
I mean, that was excruciating. It was so much work. That whole episode, it was just like, this was an opportunity where I could be like, okay, Ray, I don't know what we're gonna do here. Just like, I could rely on you to be like, I'm not sure what the shape of this scene is, because you'd have to make laying the pavers down had an emotional journey.
Yes.
And there's times where I'm like, I can figure out the shots, but like, what level are we at? What do we want to try here? And you'd always be like, all right, let's try this. And okay, maybe was that too much sad? Was that too much sweating?
Right.
What do we want to be here? And then we could kind of, we would
thanks
find
for
it.
that.
But
I mean,
that was exhausting.
the big thing that the show does, that Vince and these writers have always done in the other shows, as well, is first of all, assume the intelligence of the audience, which I think is part of why his fan base is so loyal, because you're not being spoon-fed. You're not being spoken down to. And then he takes these wild swings in in this one he's definitely doing with genre as well, but he has in the other ones. But then also tone. You can be, and so we did lots of takes finding scenes together where it's like, how comedic can this moment be while still supporting how dark this moment is and still live in the same show. And then also they do these long sequences that they've done in other shows where you are advancing story by doing a character study and often with a task. So these long montage scenes, with the paver stones, and we did have to find a journey for that. It was physically exhausting. You're trying to show, the progression of time and show how hard it is for her to do it. But we had a good time finding it, and whenever it got super, super dark, I'm somebody that usually, there's a few times where I have to stay in a very, very quiet place to maintain where each take has to start, but other times I have to step back for a second and, cut up with my crew or whatever. And so one of my favorite things to do was to make people guess about 50% of the pavers that were on supply are real pavers that were very heavy, and about 50% were styrofoam painted. But sometimes when they're being loaded in or out of the car, the weight that you need the car to look like it's going up and down would have to be real. Other times pulling them out, they don't have to be real, but they have to be carried the same way the real ones are. And then also, if the shot shows the paver hit, aren't you sad you didn't actually have this question? It's fascinating. I'm kidding. I'm so sorry. Everyone's rapt about these pavers anyway. So if the shot shows the stone hitting the ground, the styrophones just go phew, but the real ones hit the dirt and a little puff of smoke was there. So you have to be very picky about which one you're doing, and I would make the crew guess, because I think I have a very good skill at pretending things are heavy.
Okay,
and I know how to pretend when things are hot. Yes. So I would make them guess real stone, fake stone, and they were wrong every time. Thank you. Golden Globe